How can I forgive my dad, 64 years, for having an affair on my mum with someone who's younger than me? I'm 30. I don't know where else to write this. Long story, I'll try keep it short. My parents have been married 31 years. I'm 30, my brother is younger than me. I own a house with my parents. It's a double house thing, so separate houses, same property, we all pay the mortgage. Last year, Dad started staying out late at work, going away for weekends with friends, and doing weird things like getting dropped off down the road and walking back home when he came back. Going out on weekends and staying out all day, but parking his car at the shops all day. Never spending time with Mum. Never wanting to spend time with me or my brother. Dad and I have always been close. He would always pick up my calls if I needed him. This stopped. Basically, I was convinced he was cheating. I asked him. He denied. Mum asked him. He denied. A few months of this, I was getting annoyed and my heart was breaking for Mum. Finally, I saw his motorbike at a park one day, pulled in, and saw him kissing his colleague. He was a manager where he worked, in her car. He saw me see them and looked away and chose to stay with her. This was right before Christmas. I walked over to the car after waiting 20 minutes for him to get out of her car and talk to me but didn't. He asked me to keep it from Mum until after Christmas. I told Mum. She told me to not tell him she knew until he told her, because she wanted him to tell her. Mum lived with him for 6 days before Christmas Day knowing so that he would tell her. He left on Christmas Day. He came home for 2 hours, then told me he needed to go and see this other girl and that he wanted to be with her. I felt heartbroken. He asked me to keep this to myself for the sake of Christmas and left anyway. He stayed out Christmas night and didn't come home until 3 p.m. Boxing Day to talk to Mum. He didn't even tell her that day, just said he had started a close friendship with someone and was saving her life because she was in a bad situation and he was house sitting for 10 days and would be back after. During these 10 days, I decided to look through our security camera footage at our house. He had been bringing her to our house when we weren't home, kissing her outside the house. When I asked him about this, he said he didn't understand why this was a problem. It's his house too. When he came home after house sitting, he stayed living with us for a month after that, saying he couldn't find another place to live while carrying on the same behavior. He was showing Mum houses he was looking at to live in on his own. A day before he moved out, I asked if he was going to live with this other girl. He said he was. It was a last-minute thing. It wasn't. They had been planning it for months. How did he do that to Mum? I've told Dad numerous times I don't agree with the relationship. She is 25 years old. A 39-year age gap, and she is younger than me. He told me to grow up and be an adult, and why aren't I happy for him? He's found happiness. He was also her manager at work. If she was in a dangerous situation and he was saving her life, it also feels like an abuse of power in many ways. He won't tell me where he lives with her, because he says I'm volatile because I'm upset about the situation and her safety is important. More important than me knowing where he lives. I've run into them in public. They both ignored me and he looked through me like he didn't know who I was. But he still turns up to our house to take things when he pleases and acts like we are fine, and he wants a relationship. His work found out they were having a relationship and he lost his job. He says he is depressed and doesn't understand why he lost his job, and it's the only thing he can think about. We are selling the house because we have 2 costs. Me and Mum can't afford it. He has done nothing to help sell the house. Not one thing. Mum and I have done it all. Am I insane for caring still? He has never apologized. Whenever Mum and I have to talk to him, it's all about him. How depressed he is because he now has no job. He's been treated badly by work and it wasn't fair. He lost his job, etc. He's never apologized to Mum, but she has continued to be kind and has acted with grace and strength. I've told Dad I can't have a relationship with this new partner and him while they are together, at least not for a long time, and he has said that he is then in a rock and a hard place because he won't give up his relationship and says I'm blackmailing him when I think I'm putting in my own boundaries. It hurts too much. She could be my younger sister, and he left my mum for her. He also financially screwed us. Am I unreasonable? If he can't give me the space to hear me out, to talk to me about my feelings and how this has made me feel, how can I forgive him? Edit. My spelling sucks. Edit 2/responding to everyone's comments. First of all, thank you everyone for taking the time to respond. It's brought up a lot of heartache and hard truths I think I needed to hear. The main question, why do I feel I need to forgive him? Basically, because he is my father. For context, I've watched my mother care and support my father my whole life to no end. She gave up far too much for his happiness. Never did anything for herself so that he could live and do what he wanted. We always tiptoed around his wants and needs. We did what made him happy. I knew this. It was hard at times and I resented him at many times for it, but it was always this way. I knew nothing different. Furthermore, I've remained in contact with my dad because I'm financially tied up in the house we own. I've tried to bear the brunt of contact to help Mum not have as much contact. I've been the one dealing with lawyers and real estate agents on everyone's behalf so that I could be the in-between to again try and help Mum not have that contact. In the end, it's her marriage, not mine. I'm just the daughter who is unfortunately more tied up in it than I should be. But I am, and I'm wearing a lot of this because all I'm trying to do is help and make this easier for my mum. But that in turn is also killing me and making me question how I feel when I feel so much anger and hurt by what my father has done. I'm not trying to condone his actions by talking to him. I'm just trying to make it easier for my mother. I'm also trying to take Mum's lead in all this, and she is trying to do this in a kind and caring way, and while that may look like weakness, I think she is doing it to be the bigger person and show Dad that she is a good person and won't stoop to his level and be unkind and uncaring. I also think she is scared because he is manipulative, and when it comes to money, he has always walked all over her knowing he always earned more, even though she was and always has been the housekeeper, even when she had a full-time job. She also still cares and hasn't got to the point of anger yet. That will come. In short, I thank you all because you're all right. We need to cut contact completely. He needs to learn to live with the consequences, and we aren't trying to make it seem like we understand his actions. I will continue to support my mum and stand by her. I always have. I just hate my feelings in all of this. The imagines of catching them, the sudden change in him not caring when he was always my rock. It hurts beyond anything else, and it feels like a really bad dream. No, he just isn't the father I have always known him to be, and I'm struggling with that change. No contact is the first step, and I don't need to forgive him. I know that now. Lawyers. No contact. We got this.